Hi, Pat the podcast editor here. This week on Knowlton Nuggets, we're looking at how to identify potential leaders within your team through the way they handle issues within your company. Or in this case, a table catching fire. And you know what? We've even included fire sound effects for the full immersive podcast experience. Let's take a look.
I think on the note of being proactive, there was a really interesting podcast I listened to, Steve Bartlett's podcast, The Diary CEO, mentioned it various times. One of the episodes, he talked about stress and how people deal with stressful situations and emergencies. Yeah. And he gave this analogy of a fire. And I thought it's a really interesting perspective of looking at how people deal with stress. So imagine we're here now and this table set's on fire.
Oh shit!
Yeah, well, no, don't deal with it yet. I'm going to tell you the different.
It's on fire.
So there's a fire there, right? So there's a few different ways people deal with that. One, some people just point at the fire and say, "The table's on fire. The table's on fire.
Right.
The table's on fire."
Yeah.
Like pointing at the problem and just like pointing it out. Other people will just like be still and not know what to do and just panic and like be shocked and like just stand there and burn basically.
So they're thinking the table's on fire, but they're just frozen.
Like panicking in their mind.
Yeah, okay.
Other people will just run away. Like there's a fire there.
Classic like flight response.
Yeah, fight or flight.
I'm surviving. See you later.
Some people will in their mind think, right, there's a fire there. How do we solve this problem? Look around for a fire extinguisher, put the fire out.
Right.
That's someone who's proactively dealing with a problem or a stressful situation rather than running away or like the biggest and most common one that people do is they point at the fire and say there's a fire.
Interesting, yeah.
Guys, there's a fire. It's like, you know,
we can all smell it and feel the heat.
Yeah. But really what you, and Steve Bartlett on his podcast spoke about the people in terms of establishing leaders within your business who can really bring the business forward, you need to be finding the people who are going and getting the fire extinguisher to put out the fire. They're the leaders within your business that you want to
really
build
interesting up. In a business context because there's lots of problems that you have to overcome. So it's basically
a fire is like an
some
extreme
people
example.
That go, there's a problem. That's shit. Look at that. There's a problem. Yeah. There's a problem. And like saying, other people that are just thinking, there's a problem over there.
Yeah, there's a problem. Other people, there's a problem. I'm running away from that.
Yeah. See you later.
I don't want to deal with that.
And then like saying those that are quietly thinking,
how
I know
can we
there's
overcome
that problem.
this problem?
Yeah, that's really interesting. And I guess it's not as black and white. We've probably all got levels of those responses.
Yeah.
So some of us might be partially, I'm going to try and solve that, and partially frozen. I'm not
I've
sure.
definitely run away from problems before.
Yeah.
I've definitely pointed at a problem and said, there's a problem. I've done all of them. But I guess if you understand that analogy, and next time there is a problem, try and be the person who proactively solves it rather than points at it or runs away or just stands by it.
So there you have it. If you like what you heard, why not go back to episode 66 where we've got an entire episode about dealing with stress. And we'll see you next week for another Knowlton Nugget.